Hello, writers, and welcome to Bend 2, Session 10. This is actually the end of our second bend in our test prep unit, so awesome job, guys. So, writers, can you recall one of the introductions you were working on yesterday? Go ahead, tell a partner what your big, bold idea was. All right, and now follow up with some of your reasons. So, writers, you could just write those beginnings as your leads, and they'd be good. The test makers and graders would probably give you a thumbs up with those leads or introductions you just shared. But if you want to really impress the test makers and graders and make them think, wow, this kid is a pro. Plus, hey, you could use some of these tactics to convince your grown-ups maybe for a later bedtime or some extra dessert. Wouldn't that be great? Then maybe, just maybe, you need to do a little more work before you actually get started. So, writers, today I want to teach you that if you want to make your test maker or test grader, or maybe your grown up, practically fall off his or her chair because he or she is so impressed with your writing and your convincing skills, one way to do that is to write a fancy lead. You can write a lead that hooks your reader into your essay. So here's this chart we looked at yesterday. And today we're focusing in right here on this part. We're going to try to hook the reader by asking a question, explaining why the topic matters, telling surprising facts, or maybe giving some background information. If you want to go back and review any of these videos, I'm not going to do that right now, but they are back on today's slides for you. So here's some examples of some really great leads, and maybe we can kind of come up with a name or a description for each of these, and maybe we can kind of think of these like our mentor text to help us in our writing. Do you have a favorite pet of all time? Do you have a pet that you just can't stop spending time with? I do. My favorite pet is my iguana because he does cool tricks and because he snuggles with me. See if you can think of a name for that. I'll give you a few seconds. All right, hold on to that one. Whenever people ask me to choose my favorite pet, I have a hard time choosing. I have a hard time because I love all my pets. But if I have to choose one, I choose my iguana. I choose him because he does cool tricks and because he snuggles with me. See if you can come up with a name for that one. All right, great. Hold on to that one too. Many people all over the world love their pets. They might say their favorite pet is their fat bulldog or their goofy kitten. But my absolute favorite pet is my iguana, Captain. He's my favorite because he does cool tricks and because he snuggles with me. So what do you think? Can you come up with a name for that style? If I had to give a trophy for the best pet on earth, then my iguana Captain would win the award by a landslide. Captain is my favorite pet because he does cool tricks and he snuggles with me. All right, friends, so what do you think? How might we describe that first one in yellow? Go ahead and call out some answers. And our blue one? Our green one? And our bottom one in that peachy color. So I was thinking with this one, do you have a favorite pet of all time? Do you have a pet that you just can't stop spending time with? I do. My favorite pet is my iguana because he does cool tricks and because he snuggles with me. I think about this one as the talk to your reader. They're talking directly to the reader about the topic, and they're really pulling their reader in by asking them a question. Whenever people ask me to choose my favorite pet, I have a hard time choosing. I have a hard time because I love all my pets. But if I have to choose one, I choose my iguana. I choose him because he does cool tricks and because he snuggles with me. I think of this as the why it's hard to choose one. And I think a lot of people would relate to that. It's hard to make decisions sometimes, especially when there are so many good possible answers. If you have more than one pet, it might be really hard to choose. Clue your reader into that. That's going to pull them in because they're going to want to know, well, hey, if you've got all these great pets, what makes this one so special? Many people all over the world love their pets. They might say their favorite pet is their fat bulldog or their goofy kitten. But my absolute favorite pet is my iguana, Captain. He's my favorite because he does cool tricks and because he snuggles with me. I kind of think of this one as the what are other people saying? So tell what other people might say and then give what you think about the topic. It kind of gives you a chance to maybe get ahead of yourself and let your reader know that, yeah, I've already thought of the other side, but this is why mine is better. So some sentence starters that might help you are things like many people might say, blank is, but I think. I mean, think about it with vanilla and chocolate ice cream, right? Many people might say vanilla is the best choice, but I think chocolate is. And I know I'm right. If I had to give a trophy for the best pet on earth, then my iguana Captain would win the award by a landslide. Captain is my favorite pet because he does cool tricks and snuggles with me. I kind of think of this as the contest winner. So I kind of pretend that the topic of your essay was going to be in a contest. In this case, like your favorite animal. Or in my last example, your favorite type of ice cream. Which one would win? And I love these sentence starters because I really think they grab your reader's attention. If I had to give a blue ribbon or if I had to give a trophy or an award just to one, because there can only be one winner, I'd choose chocolate ice cream because it tastes way better than vanilla. So writers, we've created a new chart today with 4 ways that you can use from this day forward for the rest of your life whenever you want to write leads that make people fall off their chairs because they are so impressed. You figured out some tips that can make a world of difference. All right, writers, it's time for you to go try some of this work on your own today. So in your Ben 2 Digital Writer's Notebook, go back to some of the introductions you wrote during session 9, and I want you to try to rewrite at least 1 or 2 of them with a fancy lead. So think of these ways to write a fancy lead, and you can pull up these slides in the chart if you need to as well. But I want you to do it in a different color text. So you're not deleting your old entry, you're just switching your text color and writing a new lead so we can compare during our share some of your original leads and some of your new leads. Then if you still have time before we come back together, work on creating some extra introductions or leads in the session 10 section in your digital notebook. Your challenge is how many fancy ways can you revise the same introduction? I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to work right now, and then we'll come back for our share. All right, welcome back, friends. I'm really excited to hear some of your before and afters or how many different ways you wrote the same lead. But before we do that, I just want to let you know that when we're done, you're going to go off and get some more practice in your digital writer's notebook. All right, writers, let's hear those shares.